Okay, been a while since I've done one of these videos, so I thought I'd check on in with a little video scenario here. Um, so here's one of the ways that I know that my brain acts differently than other people. It's also one of the ways that I know that I hang out with the right group of people. So I don't know if like normal people think about things like this, but things like, planning my own funeral, or occasionally the idea that there goes Twitter. Occasionally the idea that, like, you know, I'm feeling really sorry for myself, so I'm gonna think about something really, really sad or morbid. So I'm just gonna think about, like, what would happen if something really bad happened to me and I ended up in the hospital and all my friends, came to see me, or who would come to see me, or what would happen, like, um, if they came to see me, and, would it be really sad, or, Twitter is fucking blowing up here like crazy. Um, you know, what it would be like or whatever. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say that these things have never crossed my mind and I've never thought about this, and who would come to see me, or, like, especially, like, God forbid, like, and I've ever broken up with somebody, and you know, you know, what would it take if I got in a really bad car accident? Then would they come to see me? Would they feel bad? Like, whatever. So I'm on my way out to eat tonight after a meeting, and it was one of those, like, where you're like almost not sure if you should cross. Like, the light's been flashing, like it's green, but the don't walk has been flashing just long enough where it's like, should I cross? And I kind of was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm crossing. But I had, like, people behind me, and I hear them kind of go, oh, you're crossing? Okay, we're crossing too. And they had been talking about, I guess they had been talking about this concept of, like, being in the hospital or whatever, and thinking about this and who would come to visit them or whatever. So this concept had already been going, and they're like, "Oh, we're crossing. Oh, if we got hit by a car, like, so, and we got hit by a car, then we'd end up in the hospital." These two girls were doing this. So this theme got carried on through the night, and I'm kind of sitting next to them at the end of the table, and somehow things get carried on to extremes, as we tend to do. And all of a sudden I hear one of them say something like, "Well, I wouldn't be in a coma. I'd be awake. I would be awake. I wouldn't be in a coma." And I'm like, what is even going on down there right now? I'm like, a coma? I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? They're like, well, in the hospital. We'd be in the hospital together, and we'd be next to each other, but I would be awake, but she would be in a coma. And I'm like, what? And the other one was like, yeah, I'd be in a coma, but I could hear everything that everyone was saying, so I could tell if, like, people really cared about me and what they were saying about me, and if they really loved me. And I was like, are you guys serious right now? Are you guys really talking about this right now? And then the other one was like, yeah, but I'd be awake to see if people came and saw me and, like, loved me and brought me flowers. And I was like, oh my God. And again, it's not to say that I've never thought about these things. It's just I haven't been thinking about them recently, apparently. So then we really start, like, we get it. So then we just start to, like, feed into it and laugh about it and tease one another and stuff like that. So, so then the one's like, yeah, I'd be awake, blah 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 blah, and I'd have this hot resident, that's the thing. Oh, no, no, the coma one goes, yeah, well, I'd have a hot resident taking care of me, and I'm like, that's it, ladies. I'm like, reach for the stars. I'm like, that's what you want. You want to, like, have your dream be that you have a hot resident take care of you when you're in a coma. Like, that, reach for the stars, girls. Like, yep, that's my dream in life, that I have a hot doctor who falls in love with me when I'm in a coma. I'm like, are you guys insane right now? I'm like, really? And then my friend goes, this is great too. She's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be in a coma, and listening to everything that we say. She's like, well, we heard you say that now. So, when you're in a coma, we're gonna put a big sign outside your door that says, she's listening. So we're gonna know not to say shit around you. We're gonna know, like, not to, like, feed your ego, or, like, say great shit about you. We're just gonna put a sign outside your door that lets everybody know, like, she's listening. And I'm like, can I write this down right now? I'm like, this needs to be a sketch in a sketch comedy group. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot believe we're talking about, like, you guys planning to get hurt, one of you being awake in the hospital room, the other one next to you planning on being in a coma so that you can lay there and, like, listen to all the shit people say about you, good and bad, so that, like, ostensibly you can, like, wake up out of your coma and be like, what up, bitches? I heard everything you were saying about me. And then hopefully a hot doctor who has fallen in love with you while you're in your coma. This is how I know I'm in the right place. One time I sat in my room, I remember this. I had two friends who were real estate agents, and for like 5-10 minutes, I'm thinking about like winning the lottery and like what I'm gonna do with all this money, and you know what I'm gonna do when I buy my house or a couple of houses with this money, and what am I gonna do, like which one of them I'm gonna use as a broker, and I don't want to hurt their feelings because I'm really close with both of them. So, maybe I'll just use both of them and just ask them to split commission. And oh man, this is going to be a really touchy subject, and I'm really close with both of them. And oh, man, what am I going to do? And what's the etiquette on this? And literally, I had to remind myself: A, I had not won the lottery. I had to like get back into that mode. Like, I had not won the lottery. And B, one of the reasons I had not won the lottery is that I do not play the lottery. Yeah, I don't play the lottery. I don't buy lottery tickets. Occasionally, maybe once a year, if kind of pseudo coerced by like a group of office mates who are buying like $5 into the like million, thousand, millions, because it's like got to the crazy jackpot. Maybe can be pushed into that. Or once a year, I'll buy a $1 scratch off ticket. I scratch it off. I'm like, ooh, pot of gold, double pot of gold. Oh, can I win the pot of gold? And then I lose. And then I'm like, I could have used that dollar. I might as well have taken a lighter, held it to this dollar, and burned it, just to see what would happen. Because that is essentially what I've done to the dollar. I had a brief momentary moment of excitement scratching off the pots of gold, but now I don't have a dollar anymore. And what do I have to show for it? Nothing. And I have remorse. This is why I'm not a gambler. It's not through any sense of virtue. It's just because I suck at it, and I hate the feeling of when I lose. And so I had to remind myself, I was so deep into this like fantasy about I had won this money and I wanted to buy a house, and who was I going to give this commission to? So the coma conversation was pretty awesome. Like, I was just like, yeah, coma. Yep, you are in a coma. You're listening. You're in a hospital. You're collecting flowers. You guys are just gonna like rack up a guest list. It's gonna be like a fucking like wedding guest book. You guys are just gonna like write down names and like write down who gave you maybe it'll be like a baby shower. You'll have like a maid of honor sitting there like writing down gifts and like who brought it to you and like how awesome it was. You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, what the fuck? So, so yeah, it was. I swear to God, if I'm in another sketch group at any time in the future, I'm gonna be like, yeah, here's this thing. It's like a hospital room. These two girls are in there, and they're like competing for visitors, except for one of them's in a coma, and she can only like hear everybody. So she's like doing a mental tally in her head, and there's gonna be a sign outside that says, "She's listening." I don't know. I mean, maybe this is one of these things that it was just like, you had to be there. Ah, sorry that I bored you with this fucking story, um, but yeah, it's these conversations and these moments of laughter and that make me realize, like, yeah, I hang out with the right fucking people, because I have that kind of nutty brain. So I guess I'm running on my YouTube time now, so whatevs. Okay, bye.